Hey guys, welcome back. This is the No Niche Nerds, and today we're going to talk about digital versus physical. We're sorry that we were away for so long. I became a nun.
And I tried to hook up with Bezos and Musk and fly to Mars or wherever they wanted to go, moon or somewhere. I don't know what that was, because I don't have the money they do. So, yeah, sorry we were on hiatus for a little bit. Had some real life stuff come up. The holidays, we got to spend some time with our friends and family. But we're back. So hopefully you enjoy this video and look forward to what we have in store for you.
All right, guys, so first up, we're going to talk about digital games. We're going to talk about some pros. Now, one pro is that you can download these games in several different places. You can download it on your phone. You can do it on your computer while you're at work. You can do it on the console itself. You don't have to really, you have so many different avenues of how you can actually download your games, which is really convenient.
A really good pro for me is no more midnight releases. I mean, you don't have to worry about Amazon delivering it, going to Walmart at 6 a.m., Best Buy, wherever you go. Usually Best Buy opens at 10, which is even later. You don't have to worry about that. When the digital release comes out, you get it whenever midnight is on the East Coast. So for us being on the West Coast, that's 2 to 3 hours early, which is great. I mean, it saves a lot of time.
Good point. Another pro for us is that you have a lot of space, because all you need is hard drives, right? You store all your games on your console or your hard drives. You can have several hard drives. You don't have, thousands of games around you taking up a ton of space.
Another pro is you don't have to worry about losing the actual physical game. You're buying a license for it, so you can use it whenever you want. If you need the space in your hard drive, you can just delete it, and it stays in your game library, which is great. So.
Yeah, like he just said, if it's in your library, if your Xbox breaks or whatnot, you still have those games.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, another pro is that for us lazy gamers, we don't want to get up and go find a game in the shelf of all these games. We just want to turn on our console and find a game and play it. I do that these days myself.
Yeah, we are in a society of instant gratification. We want it, and we want it now. Another thing is too, like sharing. Xbox lets you share games or share accounts. PlayStation lets you do that as well. Now there's some restrictions on either or console. I know that Xbox doesn't let you share the DLC stuff, but the main game, you can share with friends and family, which is good. I believe Xbox you can only share to one other person. I know PlayStation.
So.
PlayStation you only share to one other person. I believe Xbox is the same, if not mistaken.
I have never shared with anybody, so I don't know. I just know that it's possible and that that's great, especially if you have a close friend or you have a significant other in the house you want to play with.
Or you're not selfish.
Very true. Another pro that is really, really helpful with digital games is that they are very inexpensive. A lot of times I'm picking up games for $10, $5. I'm picking them up on, not just Xbox and the eShop and PSN, but I'm also picking up Steam games. I'm going to sites like Fanatical, Humble, Green Man Gaming. There are a ton of different places to get games. You're not just limited to the console when you do Steam games.
Another good pro too for digital is the backwards compatibility standpoint. The older games you can play on the newer consoles. Some of the newer consoles will even do upscaling too. You've seen that on Xbox, like with the S. Mm-hmm. We've talked about that in some past videos. Definitely check those out. Some of our top Xbox One and Xbox, I believe, 360, right? That's what we did for backwards compatible on the newer consoles. So that goes with physical and digital, but that's definitely a big pro for digital for sure.
We've got two more minor pros for you. One is that it is environmentally friendly, right? You don't have all that disc, the packaging that comes with it, all that stuff. So you're gonna help the environment by going digital. Also, one of the biggest ones I would say is Game Pass. I mean, Game Pass has I don't even know how many games. PC's got more, but 200, 300, 400 games on there that you can play at any time. Download them right to the console or to your computer and you play them. It's amazing. Game Pass, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if you switch between PC and console gaming.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next up, let's talk about the cons for digital. Now, the number one thing is hard drive space. These newer consoles, they always tout, oh, it's a terabyte, it's a terabyte. But in reality, you get what, 830, 840, gigs. And you go through that so quick. Now, I know that they're coming out with, you can do external expansions and stuff like that. But these days, with the sizes of the digital games, you're looking at, anywhere from 50 to 100 gigs. That doesn't count any updates that they do. It doesn't count any DLC that comes out. So, I mean, you can chew through 830, 40, 50 gigs in no time.
Oh, yeah. Another con that is big is that you don't own the game. You just own the license to the game. So what do you do if your account gets banned because you cheated? You lose all those games on there. Every single game.
I never thought about that.
And what do you do when the stores close? The Wii U store is supposed to close. The Wii shop is closed. What was the other one? 3DS is going to be closing. I mean, if you don't have those games on your console, and we know there's other ways to get those games into them. We're talking legally here. We're talking the legitimate way you're supposed to do this is you're going to lose those games unless you have them downloaded to the console or micro SD cards or SD cards.
Yeah. All right. Next, another con is you can't resell a digital game. I mean, once you have it, you have it. There's me personally. I've bought games that I was excited to play. Spent the $60 for it, or even, in some cases now with the PS5 games and the new Xbox, $70. And if it's, so-so, or you play it for a little bit, you don't really like it, or even if you play it and you beat it quick, there's just no resale value there. You're stuck with it.
Can't trade those games either.
No.
Another con that we've been thinking about is unintended consequences, right? Meaning that the people that are actually making these physical games, they're making the packaging, the box art, the actual discs themselves, or the contents of collector's editions and limited editions. Those people could go out of business, right? They could lose their jobs because there's no physical games anymore.
I think that would be. I never really thought about it from that aspect. Can affect a lot of people.
It could.
And one last con to bring up is sometimes the digital games are deleted from the stores. I believe you saw that with Nintendo, like DuckTales and some other ones that about. Once it's gone, and there's really no way to get it. Like, you can't get a physical copy of it, and it is what it is.
There's a game on PS3 and Xbox that is exclusive called Shadows of the Damned. Excellent game if you guys haven't played it. It's not digitally, you can't get it anymore digitally. It's, you can only play it physically on those consoles. That's it. All right, guys, we're going to get into physical games now. As you can see, we like physical content. We have around 2,500 games in this room, and we really like our physical content. The first pro, we're going to start with the pros. The first pro is that you can actually resell your games. I can take this game and trade it to GameStop. I can sell it to Ryan. I can, use it as a coaster if I want to. I can pretty much do whatever I want to do with that game.
I've definitely had some coaster games, for sure. But sometimes you find those hidden gems, or the rare ones that you can't find anymore, and you hold on to it because then they go up in value. And that's always exciting when you have something that maybe you go to the garage and you forgot that you had an old Nintendo cartridge or Super Nintendo cartridge, and then you look on eBay or somewhere like that, and all of a sudden it's worth $100. You can't get that from the digital aspect, so it's a huge pro from having a physical copy.
That's going in there.
Why is it me that always?
That's awesome.
Physical copy.
Oh man, where the hell were we? The next pro for us is that you can actually let your friends and family borrow your games, or you can borrow their games, vice versa, right? I can lend Ryan the new God of War Ragnarok game, and he can lend me Octopath Traveler 2 in a week or so after he's done playing it.
And with physical copy, those ones that are really good, you can look and marvel at it, which is great, especially the rare ones.
Another pro for physical games would be that the physical collector's editions and the limited editions are beautiful. They're not as good as they used to be. I remember a Xbox 360 Halo one where you got an actual Master Chief helmet, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, I've noticed over the years they've kind of got a little skimpy on some of the collector's editions.
But some of them these days have like really nice statues in them. I got an AI Somnium Files recently, and it's got a statue in it. The Cyberpunk game has a good statue in it.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these games have some really cool stuff still.
Yeah, and collector's editions are hot. They're worth a lot of money, depending on what comes with it, and they increase over time in value as long as you don't open it. So, and then the next point is backwards compatibility. It's the same with the digital. You have your discs that are backwards compatible with the newer consoles, the older games, and it just it preserves. It has that game preservation. When you have the older games and disc, and something to look back in and be like, oh, I remember, when I got that, or how old I was when I played that old game and stuff like that. And it's the backwards compatibility part, I think, is really cool. I hope they continue to do that, as the next generations come out.
I love it.
All right, so now let's get into the cons of physical. Not too many, but the first is, they go to stock. Sometimes they do limited runs now, especially since there's a lot of push for digital. So some games, they'll only make so many, and they can go to stock a lot quicker. And that does help with the value in the long run, but it can also be a problem too.
Another con for physical is a lot of these older games like Sega Saturn and PlayStation 1 and even some PlayStation 2 are beginning to get disc rot, right? Depending on the environment that you live in, if you live in an environment that's very humid, some of these games are beginning to get disc rot. I'll post up a picture so you can see what it looks like, but it damages your games and become unplayable.
That's crazy. I never would have thought about that. Never. But it makes sense, especially like, in a humid environment. Even though it's in a case, it just deteriorates just like everything else. So
it's possible.
All right, so another con for the physical is you don't really get the updates for the games like you would if it's already on your hard drive and it's digital. Xbox and PlayStation, they're really good, or Sony and Microsoft, they're really good about just pushing those through. A lot of times it's just automatic. But when you have the physical disc, you miss a lot of that stuff. So especially the older games, you don't have all the updates and the bug fixes and stuff like that. So that's another con of definitely having a physical disc versus a digital.
And some of those PS3 games, PS4 games, if you don't download those updates, you're going to get a very early broken version of the game.
Yeah.
So you want to try to, if you have some PS3 games, but that PS3 store is going to go out of business, you're going to want to do those updates on some of those games. You're going to get a very broken version.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the very last con that we came up with for physical is the space, right? Look around. There's 2,500 games in here. I could probably do another 2,500 or so, and then I'm going to have to beg my wife for another room.
She's gonna kill you if you ask for that.
Fine. She doesn't need an office, right? Come on.
Oh yeah.
So, the space is definitely it's a pro and a con to me. I really don't care about the space, to be honest. I think it's beautiful. I love looking at the games and there's not a person that I've met that's come into this room and was like, wow, this is a lot of games. They're like, holy crap, this is awesome. This is amazing. And that's the way I feel when I walk in here.
Absolutely. Yeah, this game room's awesome. At some point, we'll do like a full video where you can see everything, but trust us, it's a lot of games. It's great. All right, so just to end this, what is your take on physical versus digital, and what do you prefer?
I prefer physical because I like to hold it in my hand. It's almost nostalgic for us, I think, because you get a game. When we were kids, you got a game, you opened it up, you had a manual, you looked through it, you looked at the box, and you did that for quite some time. It was really nostalgic these days, and I really like it for that reason. I also like it for having the game preservation. I like to know that 10 years from now, when the PlayStation Store is no longer there and the PlayStation 4 store is no longer there, I can pop these games in and play them. Not to say that I don't do digital. I've got around, I don't know, 500 Steam games. I've got maybe 400 digital PlayStation 4 games, several hundred Xbox games, and then I have modded consoles. The Terra Onion mode has a full library of the Dreamcast, another Terra Onion mode that has the full library of the Sega Saturn. I've got those modded mini classic, the PlayStation 1, the SNES, the Nintendo, all of them are modded. They have all the games on them.
Arcade games.
That's
awesome.
My PlayStation 3s are modded. My PlayStation 2s are modded. Pretty much, and every one of those consoles has full libraries of games. I've got a modded Wii U that's got all the Wii U games. Modded Wii that's got all the Wii games. I've got probably 100,000 digital games compared to the 2,500 physical games. So I guess I'm more leaning on I just want to preserve the game, pretty much. I want to be able to play the game, and there's been some times where I haven't been able to play games that I can now play anytime I want to play them.
Yeah, it's good. For me, I agree, like, growing up, starting with, like, Nintendo and even, like, Atari and stuff like that, I cherished having the disc. Obviously, that's all you had, like, the physical copy. But now when you start, like, from the PlayStation 3 on, they start pushing digital more. I'm more of a kind of a mixed bag. Personally, now, if it's a really good collector's edition or limited edition, I'd like to have the physical copy for what, you talked about earlier. Like, you never know what comes with it. But sometimes I do like the aspect of digital, so I'm kind of mixed. I probably lean more towards digital now than having a physical copy. And, if I want to get rid of my physical copy, I just sell it to this guy.
I buy all games.
Yeah.
So to wrap this up, guys, what do you guys think of this video? Do you think that we missed some pros and cons of physical media? Or do you think we missed some pros and cons of digital? Let us know in the comments what you guys think, what we didn't talk about. We'll talk to you guys in the comments about it. Let's have a debate.
Yeah, absolutely. So give us your opinions, give us your thoughts, anything, you gamers out there, let us know. Are you a collector? Are you more on the digital side? Whatever. So thank you for watching. It's great to be back. Please subscribe if you haven't already. We're going to start putting out more content now that, the holidays and everything are over. We're getting back into regular routine. So thanks for watching, guys.
Have a great day.